Yesterday, I went to a bar lounge here in Bangkok, where I live now for almost 3 years, but it wasn't any lounge or a bar. It was a lounge where the majority of people there were foreigners, and more than half of them were women. Now, this is something that you can only see in very, very few places like this in the world, because everything that you need to know about modern women and how much you should stay away from them was on display that night. Now, first of all, let me explain. The dating scene here in Bangkok and in Thailand has its own nuances, and I've talked about it in many of my other videos, but there are a relatively small number of women who come here because, well, they can't compete with Thai women, but they don't know that yet until they hit the scene, and that's what I observed in that bar. It's not the first time, by the way. So first, something that I've noticed almost right away, that there were all of these, good-looking, beautiful foreign women, and there weren't, I didn't see a single time when a man went across the room to talk to a girl. Not a single time. To a Western girl, and I'll get to a few Thai women who were there in just a second. Now, a lot of these women were already either with a guy or in a group or whatever, but as far as anybody approaching these women, that just didn't happen at all. Now, granted, a lot of them had tattoos, a lot of them were smoking, which is, again, all of this should be deal breakers for you guys. If you don't know why, you can watch other videos on my channel about that, especially tattoos. I made quite a few of them because a lot of you guys just still don't get it. Tattoos completely disqualify women from ever being future girlfriends or wives. I digress. So that just wasn't happening. Now, I did approach a woman because, as you guys know, I've always dated black women in America, and when I got here, I'm like, well, there are no black women here. So there was one beautiful African girl. Well, I guess she was born in Japan. Doesn't really matter there. And I did start talking to her, but as soon as I felt I guess I was the only guy approaching a foreign girl, I guess. But when I meant foreign girls, I mean like white girls. So I just want to make sure my air conditioning on. So when I approached her, she wasn't unfriendly, but she wasn't very friendly. She kind of didn't really break the stride as we were walking together. And I was like, nah. So I just peeled off because I'm a white guy who lives in Thailand. I don't have to put up with that attitude. I don't, because I think you guys don't understand how easy access to what we all want here in Bangkok and Thailand is, paid and unpaid. So that's why a lot of guys move here, right? And I was like, whatever. And I kind of forgot about it. And when I was talking to my friend, I think I was standing, it was multi-room type of a lounge. She was passing by and she just decided to start talking to me. I was like, okay, all right, I forgive you. But then I realized that she was already holding a cigarette in her hand, she was just about to light it up, and her energy was very masculine, as most Western women are, and I just wasn't feeling it, but she wasn't like rude, right? So I kind of knew that I didn't really want to pursue anything. And then she basically said, oh, excuse me, I'm gonna go and get a cigarette lit up. And I'm like, no, you're not gonna just walk away, even for a second, from me. So I left. When she came back, there was nobody standing there. Again, because I don't have to. And I had a bunch of friends to hang out with. So this is how a lot of us who live here deal with these women. Now, of course, there's a bunch of simps who are fucking everything up for everyone, even including here. But even these simps, they come to Thailand for Thai women. And that's the next part of the story it was very interesting, because there were a few good-looking Thai women in the room, and they were kind of in their own area, but they were definitely dressed provocatively. We're talking about past midnight, like on a Friday night. No good traditional Thai woman would do any of those things, right? So these women are usually some sort of prostitutes, right? And I don't mean prostitutes walking down the street prostitutes. Prostitutes meaning these women require you to compensate them with something, money, dinners, gifts, whatever, in order to be with them. And that doesn't even always involve sex, but I have other videos about that. So finally, these girls, Thai girls, decided to go on a dance floor, and I was like, oh, they're dancing. Rarely I see Thai women dance. Dancing is not a thing here. I was like, all right. And then I turned around just for a second. Again, I was part of a birthday party, so I was talking to my friends, and then I turned back literally a couple of minutes ago, and I was like, oh, the girl's already gone. That's kind of weird. They went on a dance floor all together, and then after 2 minutes, they're done? I mean, the song didn't even change, right? So I was like, kind of weird, but then I looked closer and realized they didn't leave the dance floor. It's just so many dudes, and again, when I use the word dudes, men, or whatever, it's always should be in quotes, so many simps decided to go and try to pick them up that I couldn't see the Thai girls behind the layer of these dudes anymore. There must have been 20 of them, right? And this is what's wrong with the dating scene on the other end, right? There's just too many simps who are willing to trip over one another and compete for essentially who is the highest bidder, which means you will always pay the most for something no one else wanted for that type of payment, right? And that was like embarrassing. This was embarrassing to see Western men behave this way, where honestly, if you want to meet a girl like that, a Thai girl like that, we have a special district for you where you don't need to try to shovel other guys out of the way. You can just purchase, which you were going to do. Even if you're the winner of this 20 guy, crowd, you're still going to pay. And this is what a lot of these guys and simps don't understand, but also are willing to pay because they have nothing else to offer. And this is the kind of a problem with dating in general, right? Just too many men have nothing to offer, or don't even know what they have to offer, and therefore they just offer money. Sometimes women ask for it, sometimes women don't ask for it, but that's what happens. But so here we are, two types of delusional human beings, right? Men who don't understand they don't need to compete with other men because at the end of the day, the ratio is amazing here. If you look at foreigners, especially foreigners who live here, especially foreigners who live here and speak some Thai, to the number of Thai women who would mind dating a foreigner, it's like 1 to 1,000, right? You don't need to go 20 guys to 3 Thai girls in that club, bar, or whatever. And then there's a bunch of delusional white women, foreign women, who know that nobody really wants them. And they see who they want. The guys want the Thai women in Thailand because, at the end of the day, they're still more feminine. They're still, not, and many other reasons. Even the hoes here are more feminine and nice and polite than even an average modern woman. So these modern women could absolutely see with their eyes what the men wanted, and it wasn't them. And yet, if you did approach one, like I did, and granted she's a black woman, which is, a whole different dimension here, you still get attitude. And then you leave. Like this black girl, she saw me leave twice. She kind of had to hunt me down for the second time, and yet there was no change in her behavior. And that is the second group of delusion of women who understand and with their own eyes can see the competition. And I would say even an animal would be like, oh, I better act that way because that's how you get fed, But no, they don't. They don't change. Now, granted, a lot of these women are, tourists here, and so are the men. And that kind of gives you an exposed idea of what Western men are and what Western women are and why it's such a mess. Both needs to improve. Both are undateable bunch of just shit. But there's still quite a few women who live here. They don't get any of the attention. As a matter of fact, don't take my word for it. They have forums where they all complain about how they are like invisible here because, and I can confirm this after talking to so many guys, Thai and foreigners, nobody takes them seriously. I mean, yeah, a bunch of guys will try to bang him and stuff like that, but as far as like getting into a serious relationship, none of us are crazy enough to want to because they can never compete with Thai women. or Southeast Asian women. So this was a great night to represent how pathetic men are in their behavior and how they have nothing to offer but compliments and money, and they're willing to compete where they don't need to compete, and how pathetic the women are who see what they need to be in order to get attention and men approaching them, and they are not willing to change at all. You can only see it here. See, because in America, the two shits kind of collide and mix together, and that's why the modern women and simps, which is the majority of American men, humans with penises, or species formerly known as men, as I call them, they kind of almost like figured out how to do business with each other, right? So, but here it is very different. Now, there were a lot of interesting nuances, and actually, I would be interested to see what you guys would do that, because at the end of the night, I bumped into this black girl again, and she kind of introduced me to her brother, who I originally thought was her boyfriend, but she cleared that up the first time I talked to her. And, and she again tried to start a conversation with me, but I was already leaving. I already knew that even though she was gorgeous, I didn't want to deal with her anymore. And as we were kind of like saying goodbyes almost, there was this one other white guy who just came up to her and started talking. Now, granted, it's a stupid thing to do, because if you're going to just come in and start talking to a girl who already has a guy talking to her, especially in that environment, you're probably going to get your, face punched into once in a while. Now, I wouldn't do that. I'm not a violent guy, but this was a great test for a girl. Would she stay talking to me, or would she kind of switch to whoever just gave her a fresh new attention? Especially if maybe they talked earlier and he promised her a drink, which I never do, and I never buy drinks for women. So that was another interesting test that she failed. But again, I was already on my way, let him take the hit. But what would you guys do in this situation? Because I got, some friends of mine who I asked, because this had never happened to me before, honestly. This is an extremely stupid thing to do, especially here in Bangkok as a tourist. You do not want to mess with anybody, especially somebody who lives here. It's just an awful, this is why you hear all this news about tourists getting, I don't want to say it on camera, but you can get in a lot of trouble for acting this way. So what would you do in a country that you live? I'm just curious. I know I will still act the same way if this ever happens again, but this is an amazing phenomenon that shows you everything that's wrong with dating in one place. You can just see it with your eyes. I was entertained. If you're a single guy and you're still dating, well, let me help you out when it comes to analyzing dating profiles. All you have to do is take snapshots of a dating profile of a girl you're interested in and upload it into this ChatGPT app called the Dating Profile Analyzer. It is free, and it will give you all the green, yellow, and most importantly, red flags about that profile. You're welcome.